we are at our job for today, and easy little spring job today. I got a couple crab apples to prune here, so nothing too crazy, just all work from the ground. I got my orchard ladder and that, and yeah, just kind of hand saw stuff. I brought my little saw, just, you know, there's a couple actually dead ones that are a little bigger, so I'll get through them a little quicker. Let's get our tools over here, what we need here. Okay, so here's what we're looking at here. One tree, two trees here, so pretty straightforward stuff. They're older. They've definitely got some decay in them. This has got to come out. This is just kind of rotted right down to the main stem there. Big cavity here, so that'll come out. We're gonna get this off of here. So any of the dead rotten stuff, each tree's got it. That's about it for dead rotten stuff on that one. We got this one here. Like, this branch is still alive, but this whole thing is like pretty rubbery feeling, and it's got these fruiting bodies all over it, eh? So we're gonna remove this. We'll get it back to here. And then as far as that, it looks like there could be a little bit of fire blight going on in this tree. So not a lot, but there's a little bit there. So anything that kind of looks like it, we'll be cutting that out. So I've got my disinfectant spray here. So I like using that to clean off my tools. Typically between cuts. Well, that's about the extent of chainsaw work for these two trees. So again, I'll leave that. We're leaving that. It's already been closed up for a while, so I'm just gonna leave that be. We got this one, you can see how punky it is inside, so that's off there. And these, again, it's just completely punky. It's rotted right down to here. I don't want to cut it down into there. This is basically just for aesthetics, like just to have it back there. Same with this. So, like I said, that's it for chainsaw stuff. Everything else is just going through with the pole pruner, loppers, and I don't really see any, yeah, maybe a touch of blade in here. This one definitely seems like it's got a little bit, so I'm gonna be, any branches that look like they've got like fire blight on them, I'm gonna have to disinfect after each cut. So this tree is gonna be a little time consuming, you know, doing disinfections for each cut of those branches. So that is what it is though, right? You just want to minimize. That's kind of why you do it. Typically I would have done these even earlier than this too. Like, we are at the point where the trees are coming out of dormancy, right? So they're actively starting to move and reposition their chemicals and nutrients back into place, and because they're going to start pushing out their buds and building their leaf structures so they can start making food. So yeah, it's just the way this year turned out, kind of thing. And typically I would do these fruit trees usually in March while they're still completely dormant, but we're still pretty good here. So anyway, it's always good to be mindful of if you have potential disease in there too. So disinfecting is recommended, and I just use, you can look up a recipe, just Google it online. It's simple to make. Like I use a recipe of just water, and it's like about 10% bleach. So yeah, cheap to make, and it'll help mitigate any disease spread. So we're just gonna work our way. I always start at the bottom and work up, just so I'm kind of creating space as I go up. There's not a lot. There's pretty kind of a sparse tree here, so you're really selective, obviously, with what I take. But we're definitely gonna like reduce some of these top. We're gonna reduce some of those back and bring down the overall height of the canopy a little bit here. So I got some good spots to cut down to work with that, where you still have lots of branch left. A little bit of crossers. This is probably the most work area of that tree. And then over here, it's a little bit different. These are more just kind of long shoots, so I'm just gonna come in and reduce those after. I'm probably gonna start on this side, sort of finish that up, and then come to this side and tie it all in together. This is like a lot of the airport's just over yonder here. So this is like one of the main air highways, like coming in to the landing strip. So you'll see, this is, I've done a few jobs here, and you got planes coming through here all day. So nice spot here though. Got some big willows at the back. I've done some work on those, removing some big dead branches up in there. Did a couple dead tree removals over here. Removed one spruce tree in there last year, and I've done a little tidy up pruning in that white pine out front, and they got another maple next to it. I've done same thing, just a little bit of a general tidy up kind of pruning, slight reduction. So anyway, this is where we're at with this tree. Now I'm getting close to done. I'm good over here. I've got everything kind of cleaned up how I want it. I trimmed a little bit of this white pine just back a little bit away, just to give them a little separation there. That's my height there. I had good reduction points over there, good lateral spots to reduce to, which is ideal if you're going to be reducing the height of a tree. Whereas if I come to this side, it's a different structure over here. So I don't really have sort of the lateral reduction points that I had over here. Over here, I've got more of these long shoots that basically to reduce those, I'm basically gonna have to do like a heading style of cut on these. So with that in mind, with heading cuts, typically you want to be careful with heading cuts, like, because the tree has a harder time. They can't actually really close a heading cut off because of the design of trees. Whereas say like the lateral on that side, the tree can basically shut those points down. On a heading cut, the tree can't shut the point down. So over here, with that in mind, like, I don't want to try reducing, like, there's a lot of like basically like these co-dominant, it's hard to point and look at this at the same time, co-dominant junctions. So even if I go to those, that's still a heading cut, because it's not a true lateral. It's like a top. So those are open. So you're gonna be open anyway. So I don't want to go low with those. Since I got to do a heading cut anyway, I want to keep them as small as possible. So I'm gonna be doing them up. You gotta move your arm like reverse of what I see in the camera here. I'm gonna do them up here. That way it's a smaller cut, less exposure. So that's what we're gonna have to do on this side. So like I was saying, I've been about, an hour and a half or so working on this tree. I got another 20 minutes or so reducing this stuff. And that'll basically be it for that tree. And I'll do a quick shot of that after. I've been filming because it's been raining and I don't want to have my phone sitting out here in the rain. So we'll finish this one up, and then when I get over to this one here, this one's a little bit bigger, but pretty much the same kind of deal. So yeah, we're gonna finish up on here, and I'll get a shot after of what that one looks like, and then we'll move over to this one. That one right down. Okay, so we're done tree number one. I'm gonna stay under this one a bit here just because it's kind of raining and snowing. I don't want to get my phone wrecked. So here she is behind me here. So I'll try to get the best shot I can here. So we're over on the side here. It's kind of hard to see, right? We got dull light. Certain angles anyway, it's hard to see. So I'm happy with how this turned out. We got the height reduced just a little bit. And overall, we worked with the structure of the tree, right? It's a little quirky, right? It shoots out far here. So we did the best with the overall shape of the tree that we could, right? And as you see, like a couple dead pieces, and then these branches here. So that's literally kind of all I've taken off this tree, right? Not a lot, and that's good. You don't want to take a lot off, so you want to kind of do as much as you can with as little as you can, if you want to think of it that way. So just make your cuts count, be accurate with them. There's a lot, like this tree, you know, it took about 2.5 hours, and it's a lot. So you can see it here now. It's hard to see with lighting and whatever, but you're coming back, you're doing a cut, and you're coming back and you're looking. So that's typically how anyone that's pruning trees is going to do it that way. You don't want to just start cutting and hacking stuff out, right? You got to make sure, because if you cut one wrong branch, now all of a sudden you've opened up a big hole, right? So you want to avoid opening up big holes. You want to avoid as much as possible making bigger diameter cuts. Those are all the key things that I personally, and obviously many other people do too, right? it's standard practices to go about it that as a tree care professional in that, but as a homeowner in that too, like you want to follow the same principles, right? For the overall health and appearance of your tree, right? To have it looking its best and get the longest life out of it. So anyway, yeah, it's hard to see, but trust me, it looks good. The homeowner will be happy with that. So get another angle from it over here. Again, that's literally like not a lot. Any of the big stuff that I cut, like all those pieces there, those were already just dead pieces. So yeah, we're good on this tree here. Still got lots of active branch there, so we'll have plenty of foliage on here, a little more light airflow into it, so I'll be good. So we're gonna move on to the next one here. It's starting to rain a lot. I gotta put my phone away. Little bit bigger tree here, so obviously, like, I'm not gonna try getting it to the same height as that. This is just a bigger tree. I know it's not gonna come down as much as that. So I'm gonna start over here. Yeah, now it's like hailing. And get this big shoot here. I'm gonna get these, start with stuff like that. The dead branches, stuff shooting straight up in the middle. So she's a little congested. We're a little more cutting on this one than what that one was, but let's get to her. So we got that one sort of big tuft of a lateral branch that was there. A couple of those, so that's already gonna lighten that that side up a bunch. And it's just a little droopy, so I'm just gonna just bring that in a tiny bit away from these spruce trees there. And that'll be it for over here. So I started with those. Those branches look good. I'm kind of going through, and I'm not going to touch any of the stuff that looks like it's got maybe a bit of fire blight potentially. So it's hard to see in the light. It's really dim light, so it's hard to see stuff. So this tree is going to take a bit more, because like I'm going to be more diligent with using my disinfectant solution. So I'm gonna spray down after basically probably each cut that looks like the branch has fire blight. So I mean, there's not a ton, but there's definitely maybe a little bit in this tree, it looks like. Whereas that last tree there was pretty good. I maybe disinfected a couple times there, but so I'll just keep going. It's actually quite a bit of dead branches in this one, so just getting all that stuff out now, and I'm not touching any healthy branches. That'll keep me from having to keep cleaning my saw. So I'm just cutting dead stuff off. Once I get most of that, then I'll give it a good clean, and then I'll start working on the branches that are alive. Conserve my battery. The phone's getting a little low. So we're cleaning up a bit here, shaping up a bit. I've pretty much got everything out in terms of like all the dead stuff is basically out. There might be a couple little ones here and there still gotta get as I go through. So I've got all that out. I had a few shoots that were coming straight up in there. That's out. So we're looking pretty nice and even. We still got a lot of nice scaffold branches and foliaging branches that are going to be producing. We have lots of leaves on here still. So I'm now working on the reduction, basically, of the height. And I made a couple cuts. I'm limited with what I can cut back to, so I've come to decide that that's as low as I'm going, right there. So that's kind of my marker now that I'm gonna use. I gotta come over and just reduce a little bit of this stuff here, just to tighten that in a bit. I'm gonna bring my ladder over here and just work across and reduce this bit of section, down to about that height there. So it is what it is. This is just a bit bigger tree than what that is. And this tree's got quite a bit of black rot in it. So it doesn't look like blight in there. I don't see any of the characteristic, red tip branches and stuff like that. And it looks like just black rot, like on some old wounds, some bark peeling up. So, I want to limit, my cutting on this as much as possible. It's already struggling a bit with that, so yeah. So just kind of really minor reduction up on top, a tiny bit on the side, and that'll be it for this tree. Okay, so tree number 2 is done. We'll take a look here. So it's always hard to, I wish you could, it would show up like you see it in real life, right? Like it's hard to translate onto but she looks good. We got nice symmetry here, nice even canopy. You know, this is the biggest stuff that I took out. There was basically kind of like the 2 suckery sort of branches there, and then one big one that was hanging on the end of here, just putting a lot of pressure on that limb. So we got that off. It's got nice even flow. We just reduced the top and the sides just a little bit. I took them to where the best points that I could. This, like I was saying, the structure of this tree is a little different than this one. This one had different points that you could cut to. This one was, I was limited. So I was limited to just kind of doing smaller heading type cuts. You know, just taking it back to some lateral buds. Taking it back to lateral branches where I could, and then lateral buds, you know, where there wasn't branches to take it back to. So finally got a little bit of sun poking through here, which is nice. I just got to clean up now, and like I said, don't have a lot to clean up, right? Like, and that's good, you know, when you can accomplish your pruning goals. You don't want to be taking a lot. Like it's not quantity, it's the quality of branches that you select to remove. You always try to take as little as possible, right? Like at the end of the day, you are putting wounds on the tree, so you want to make every cut that you do count, to be as most effective as possible. So there's a lot of strategy to it. It's a lot of most of the time you're doing a cut and you're getting down the ladder and then going and analyzing again and visually going through the tree and, you know, seeing like, okay, what would it look like if I removed this limb? Oh, there would be a hole. Okay, no, we're not doing that, right? You're just kind of going through bit by bit, cut by cut, doing it like that. But anyway, I was trying to get a good shot here, but I say it's hard to. But they look good, trust me. These guys will be happy with that. They're out of town right now, and so when he gets back, he'll be happy with that. Anyway, that's going to be a wrap for this job. I'm going to clean up, and nice easy day. You know, or a 5-hour job by the time I clean up. So anyway, we'll check you on the next vid. Thanks for checking it out. Woods Miller Tree Works.